In this video, we're going to look at how to reference row data in expressions. What we mean by that is it's when you want to use an expression for a grid filter, a calculated column, a conditional style, etc. But the data you're using is in your data source, but is not a column. And this is often the case where you've got very, very big data sources, only a subset of those you've turned into columns, but you still want to reference the other fields in the expressions you create. And you do that as a two-stage process. First, you define your fields. You tell Adaptable which of your fields you want to be available in expressions, and they're ones which are not columns. And then secondly, you reference them in the expressions using the field keyword, or if it's a nested object, then the nested object dot the keyword. As always, it's easier to see an example. So let's go full screen. Let's show the code. So the first thing to look at is here we've added some fields to our typical dummy data set. We've added one called forks count, which is a number, and then we've added a object called multipliers that has two fields, stars multiplier and watches multiplier. They're both numbers, and you can see we've given them data. So that's forks count, and now your multipliers, and then again in this item here. The column defs are not touched, so those three things are not columns. They're not available as columns. Grid options hasn't changed, but in adaptable options we do a couple of things. First, as we say, is we define these fields. So in expression options, you define what fields you want to be available in the UI. Now you can actually create an expression if you don't provide these, but then as we'll see in a minute, they won't be available for you to drag and drop in the UI controls that we provide. So here we've defined three fields, one called forks, which looks at the forks count field, one called stars multiplier, which is the multipliers object and the stars multiplier property, and one called watchers multiplier, which does the same for that one. And then we use them in various places. So first we've created here a custom sort. So here we're sorting the GitHub stars column not on GitHub stars itself, but actually on its multiplier and GitHub stars, which is why you can see that it doesn't sort purely numerically. And then we've added it in three other places. The first is we've created a grid filter expression, forks count greater than 5,000. That's what you see here. And again, you can see the field object, a keyword to make sure it's a field. And then we've created two calculated columns here, full stars and full watchers. And in both cases, the expression is the column times by the field. And that's it. That's exactly what you need to do, and that all works. Let's show you in action. So let me, for instance, clear this grid filter. And now if we want to recreate it, we go into our expression editor. Now here, as well as seeing the columns, because we have fields, we now have a list of all the fields. So I can just drag one on, and you can see that Adaptable turns that into the text required. So when I say greater than 5,000, that's now my filter, the one we saw before. Or indeed, we can do it in the query builder. So again, if I go in here, and this time I go to my query builder, I add a condition. And again, instead of just seeing columns, now I can see fields as well. Adaptable will list all the available fields. So let's do forks greater than 5,000. You can see that's the expression that gets produced. And indeed, that's the filter that gets applied. So there we are. They're fields in Adaptable. They allow you to reference items that are in your row data, that are in your data source, but which you've not turned into columns. If we look at columns here, we won't see fields and the two multipliers, but we do of course see the two calculated columns that we created. As always, thank you for watching. If you'd like to know more about AdaptableQL or anything else in Adaptable, please get in touch. We'll be delighted to provide you with a free, no obligation trial license, or indeed a personalised one-to-one demo. Thank you for watching.